Hello everybody, I'm Cameron and welcome back to another episode of Python. This lesson we will be looking at while loops. So we talked about if statements before. We went through how to do that. But let's say we want to actually repeat the conditions of an if statement. Like what if a particular thing is true, then instead of just going through a set of lines of code one time like in an if statement, what if we wanted to do a bunch of times in an if statement? So that would be a loop. So we're going to take a look at while loops today. There's different types, but I think while is the best to start with. So let's go ahead and let's get this started. So we're going to make up a number, and I'll just call this my number. And we're going to set my number to be 10. How about that? Now let's actually make a while loop. So it's as simple as just typing while. And just like an if statement, you're going to type in a condition now. So how about while my number is greater than 5, there we go. And we just put that colon just like the if statement. And now we can do print my number. And I'll put in a message 2 is greater than 5. All right, let's do that and let's run it and see what happens. So if I run this, as you guys will notice, down here, it's just going on infinitely. So yeah, that's a big problem. This while loop is going on forever because as long as my number is greater than 5, it's just going to keep printing out this line. The problem is the value of my number is never changed anywhere. So it's just going to keep on going forever. I'm going to have to manually stop it like that. And let's add some more code to it. So within this loop, we can actually change the value of my number. So I'm going to use some shorthand here. And I'm going to go my number minus equals 1. So that means every time it goes through this loop, it's going to print what your number is, or it's going to print that it's greater than 5, and it's also going to subtract it by 1. So if I go ahead and I run this, let's see what we got. We got 10 is greater than 5. All right, it says 10 is greater than 5 because it starts out as 10. Then it subtracts 1. Now it checks again to see if it's greater than 5. Since it is greater than 5, 9 is still greater than 5, it runs through again and it prints 9 is greater than 5. Now it takes 1 away. So now our value is 8. It checks again, is 8 greater than 5? Yes, so it runs through the loop and it does that again and again and again. But then once we get to where it equals 6, 6 is greater than 5, it subtracts 1. Now when it does that check again, is 5 greater than 5? 5 is not greater than 5. 5 is equal to 5. So it does not do this loop again, and then the program ends. And if you want to see that, I could do another print statement here just to prove that that is the end of the program. I could put my number, and I'm going to do is not greater than 5. And let's run that again. There you see. So it ends with the value 5, and it doesn't go through the loop that last time. It just goes straight to here, this line. 5 is not greater than 5. So yeah, that's the basic of while loops. But we're not done yet because there's a little bit more I'd like to explore with them. To demonstrate the additional functionality, let's start over. So we're going to actually take my number now. Instead of just setting it, we're going to take it as an input. So I'm going to do int because we want to take it as an integer. And why don't we keep it simple? I like what we were going with before. So we're going to say enter a number less than 5. And now instead of doing the loop as while my number is greater than 5, I'm going to do is greater than or equal to 5. Because that way, as long as the user enters a number that is not less than 5, this loop will keep on going. So this loop actually is going to repeat while the user is not doing what we want them to. So we're going to have this, right? And then we're going to say print, let's do print my number. And now we'll give them a message too, is not less than 5. And now if we do that, this is just going to run forever, of course. If we enter a number, let's do 5. And it's going to say 5 is not less than 5. And it's going to keep going on forever. So we need an opportunity to change the value of 5. So we could actually just copy and paste this. So I'm going to just request that they enter it again. And we could take in another input and assign it to my number again within this loop. And we could do that and that'll be fine. So if we run that here, and we enter a number less than 5. This is annoying me how it's on the same line, so I'm going to go ahead and just do that. That way, our cursor is going to be on the line underneath. So enter a number less than 5. Let's say I want to enter 6, and it's going to say 6 is not less than 5. If I enter 10, it's going to do the same thing. So now we could have it where at the end we have an else statement. So you guys could actually add an else statement to the end of a while loop. So once you finally get out of that loop, it'll go and follow this else. So else, it'll be print you have entered a number less than 5. So let's try this out. Enter a number less than 5. We're going to start with 5, so we're in this loop. Now let's just type in 4. And there we go. See, it followed what was in that else statement. You've entered a number less than 5. So let's say you want, under a particular set of circumstances, the loop to be broken, but without this message ever reading. We could actually also end the loop without the condition even being met. So you might be wondering, well, how will we do that? So I am going to go ahead and I'm going to make a new variable. I'm going to call it chances. And let's say that chances equals 3. And every single time the user enters in a number that is not less than 5, chances is going to minus equal 1. And now we're going to have a if statement down here. We're going to have if chances is less than 1. Or we could use our double equal sign here. It's a good idea to practice that, right? So double equal sign is for comparison, single is for assigning. So if we want to compare chances to 0, we use the double equal sign. So if chances gets to 0, we are going to print you ran out of chances. And then what we're also going to do is we're going to type in this break thing. So what break does is, regardless of whether or not this condition up at the top is met, the loop is going to be over. It's done. And in addition to that, it's not going to print out what's after the else statement. Now keep in mind, you don't need that else statement there. You also don't need to ever have a break condition in a loop, though it might be a good idea too based on the circumstances. So right here I wanted to demonstrate a loop that will have a way to break it, but it would also have an else statement. So if we end the loop the natural way, meaning we get outside of this condition, right? So this condition is false, then it'll go to the else. If we get out of the loop by this break statement, it's not going to print the else statement. So I'll demonstrate that for you guys right now. Let's see. Enter number less than 5. We'll do 6. We'll do 7. We'll do 10. We'll do 11. Oh, we ran out of chances. But now if I run this again, and let's say I enter 5, and now I get to try again, and I enter 3, since I did it by the natural way to end the loop, which is not meeting this requirement anymore, it'll tell me that statement at the end. It'll tell me what's in that else statement. It'll only tell you what's here if you exit the loop by not meeting the requirement up there. If you get to that break, this message will never print out. So there you go, guys. That's a little bit of a demonstration. Now, obviously, this isn't the most practical use of this, but I just wanted to throw something quick for you guys that'll teach you what a while loop is, what that else statement at the end is, and what this break statement is. The break, you're always going to want to keep inside of one of those if statements, though, or else the loop is just going to break every single time you use it. So yeah, guys, you could also have if statements within loops. You could have loops within if statements. It's all crazy, all the types of stuff you could do with this once you start stacking on top of each other. And we'll start practicing more stuff like that as we continue throughout this course. But I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope this helped you out a ton. Let me know if you need anything in the comments. If anything is confusing you, if you have any questions, I'll be sure to answer them. And I will see you in the next lesson.